Part 1, Echoes of the Proxima Drift. The moment I stepped onto the derelict hull of the old freighter, I could almost hear the ship's past echoes bouncing off the silent corridors. It was a peculiar sensation, standing there in the void with nothing but the stars to witness my trespass. Being a scavenger wasn't a noble profession, but finding hidden treasures in forgotten places, well, that was my calling. And the Proxima Drift had plenty of those. My boots clanked against the metal, the noise reassuring in the emptiness. Orbital Station Helios had been an ambitious project once, an attempt to anchor human presence in the Proxima system. Now it was a rusting husk, deserted and drifting, much like its inhabitants once did. I wasn't the station's first visitor in its long solitude, but judging by the thick layer of cosmic dust, I was certainly the first in a while. As I navigated the dimly lit corridors, the lights flickered to life, powered by some ancient yet miraculously still-functioning solar arrays. They cast long shadows that danced with each step I took, flickering in the cold, stale air. There was something magnetic about the place, something that drew me in like a moth to a flame. Or maybe it was just a moth to a very expensive, potentially lucrative flame. I was 2 corridors in when I first heard it. A low, resonant hum, almost like the purr of a giant, invisible cat. It thrummed through the walls, setting my teeth on edge. Instinctively, I unslung my energy rifle, its familiar weight a comfort in my hands. I wasn't a stranger to danger, but there was something unnerving about this sound. "Relax, Moran," I muttered to myself, my voice swallowed by the oppressive silence. "It's probably just the station settling, or a giant, invisible cat. Either way, you're a big brave scavenger, remember." I took a deep breath and pressed on. The source of the hum became evident soon enough. At the heart of the station lay a chamber, the walls lined with consoles and screens, all flickering to life as I entered. They displayed a swirling mass of data, incomprehensible and mesmerizing. In the center stood a large, translucent sphere pulsing in time with the hum. It was something out of a sci-fi fever dream, a dormant intelligence, perhaps, or a relic of lost technology. "Now that's worth the price of admission," I said, tapping my wrist communicator. "Hey, Reeve, you'll never guess what I've just found. Forget the cargo holds, this is the real treasure." Reeve's voice crackled through the static. "If it's not edible or drinkable, consider me skeptical. But hey, you do you. We could use something to make this trip worthwhile." "Trust me, this isn't just worthwhile. This could change everything." As I studied the sphere, my scanner began to beep, an urgent, insistent noise that made my heart race. The readings were off the charts, indicating energy levels that shouldn't exist, not in something so old. My hands itched to touch it, to understand it. But the moment my fingers brushed its surface, the entire station shuddered. Lights flared, the screens went haywire, and the sphere glowed brighter, almost blinding. Reeve," I said, backing away from the sphere with a newfound urgency. "We might have a bit of a situation." "Define situation," Reeve replied, sarcasm barely masking concern. Before I could answer, the sphere emitted a sound, a piercing, discordant note that filled the room. It was as if 1,000 voices were crying out in unison, a chorus of lost souls. And then, just as suddenly, it stopped. The sphere dimmed, leaving behind an unsettling silence. I was about to call Reeve again when a voice, distinctly not my own, echoed in my head. "Welcome, traveler," it said, each word resonating with ancient power. "You have awakened the echo. Your journey begins now." My heart pounded in my chest. This wasn't just some artifact. It was alive, and it had chosen me for reasons I couldn't fathom. "Well, that's not ominous at all," I muttered, trying to inject some humor into the situation. It didn't help. As I prepared to leave, the station's emergency lights flared red. An alert blared through the speakers, but before I could decipher it, a massive thud reverberated through the hull. The whole place seemed to reel from the impact. I staggered, barely keeping my balance. "Reeve, come in, something just hit us," I shouted into the communicator, my voice tinged with panic. But the line was dead, nothing but static. I sprinted back through the corridors, the red lights flashing in urgent rhythm. As I reached the airlock, I caught sight of it, an alien vessel latched onto the station like a parasite. Sleek and iridescent, it seemed to pulse with a life of its own. This wasn't any scavenger ship. It was something far more sophisticated and, judging by the array of weaponry, far more dangerous. A panel on the alien craft opened, and figures began to emerge, creatures of an unrecognizable species. They were tall, with skin that shimmered like liquid mercury and eyes that glowed with an inner light. Their movements were fluid, almost graceful, as if they were dancing rather than invading. Great, I breathed. First, a haunted sphere. Now an alien boarding party, just another day in the life of a cosmic junk dealer. I had two choices, stand and fight or get the hell out while I still could. The latter seemed a lot more appealing. I turned and sprinted back towards my ship, the Solstice. I had no idea what these aliens wanted, but I knew I wasn't sticking around to find out. The corridors seemed to stretch infinitely, each turn a potential dead end. My breath came in ragged gasps, each step echoing like a drumbeat of urgency. Behind me, I could hear the aliens, their melodic communication like a song at the edge of hearing. I just hoped I wasn't about to become the latest stanza. With a final burst of speed, I reached the docking bay, my ship resting like an oasis in the desert of warped metal. I slapped the control panel, the ramp lowering with a groan. As I rushed aboard, I spared a glance back down the corridor. The aliens were close, too close. I slammed the ramp shut and vaulted into the cockpit. The familiar hum of the Solstice powered up, the thrusters kicking in as I punched in the launch sequence. The ship lurched, detaching from the station with a shudder that rattled my teeth. Outside, the alien craft was still docked like a barnacle on a hull. I had no intention of sticking around for a second encounter. With a surge of power, the Solstice rocketed away from the station, the stars streaking past in a blur. As I set a course for the nearest jump gate, I allowed myself a moment to catch my breath. My heart was still racing, every nerve on edge. My mind spun with questions. What was that sphere? Why had those aliens come for it? And why had it chosen me as its champion or victim? I had a feeling this was just the beginning of something much larger. The echo had called, and whether I liked it or not, I'd answered. Whatever this journey held, I knew one thing for certain: it was going to be one hell of a ride. Part 2. The Veil of Seraphiz. As the Solstice hurtled through the cold embrace of space, the stars seemed to stretch into elongated fingers, clutching at the void. My hands danced over the controls, every muscle taut with anticipation. The jump gate wasn't far, but with an alien vessel possibly trailing us, every second felt like a fragile eternity. Reeves' voice crackled back to life through the communicator, distorted but blessedly familiar. "Moran, what the hell happened in there? You had me worried sick." Long story short, ancient tech, alien visitors, and a whole lot of running, I replied, attempting to sound breezier than I felt. My heart hadn't quite settled down from our escape, and I wasn't sure it ever would. The jump gate loomed ahead, a monolithic structure that dominated the void, a relic from the times when humanity still believed in taming the far reaches of space. Rings of cold metal spun around a core that glowed with an eerie blue light, beckoning us with promises of other worlds. "Prepare for jump," I announced, more to myself than anyone else. The Solstice shook as it aligned with the gate's swirling energies. With a deep breath, I initiated the leap, the ship's systems responding with a familiar, comforting hum. The universe folded in on itself, a kaleidoscope of shifting colors and patterns. For a heartbeat, I felt weightless, unmoored from reality. and then, just as quickly, we emerged into another sector, the stars snapping back into place around us. For a moment, I allowed myself to relax. The jump was successful, and no signs of pursuit followed us through the gate. Maybe the aliens had other priorities, or maybe they'd underestimated my tenacity. Either way, I wasn't about to question our luck. "All right, Reeve, we're clear for now," I said, gripping the controls a little less tightly, though the unease lingered. "We need to regroup, figure out what that thing on Helios was and why it's got alien interest." Reeve's voice was thoughtful. "Could be a navigation core or maybe a data repository. If it's valuable to them, we should find out why." As I set course for the nearest hub of civilization, an orbital station known as SCI-FI, my mind replayed the events aboard Helios. The sphere, the hum, the voice in my head, it all felt like pieces of a puzzle, one that I wasn't yet equipped to solve. The journey to SCI-FI was mercifully uneventful. As the station grew larger in the viewport, its spires gleaming against the backdrop of space, I felt a flicker of hope. Answers might be waiting within its bustling corridors. Docking procedures were smooth, and the Solstice settled into her berth with a gentle thud. I powered down the engines and gathered my gear, pausing for a moment to study my reflection in the cockpit glass. The face staring back at me was weary but determined. Whatever lay ahead, I'd face it head-on. The air within SCI-FI was a refreshing change, tinged with the scents of spices and industry. The station was alive with activity, a veritable hive of traders, travelers, and those who called its metal walls home. As I made my way through the throng, the cacophony of voices and footsteps enveloped me, comforting in its normalcy. I headed straight for the local tech bazaar, a sprawling marketplace where information flowed faster than credits. If anyone could shed light on the artifact from Helios, it would be the eccentric minds who thrived here. Dodging between stalls hawking everything from starship parts to alien curiosities, I found my target, an old friend and occasional rival, a tinkerer named Ash. His stall was a chaotic collection of devices, each more improbable than the last. Ash himself was hunched over a workbench, a magnifier perched on his nose as he soldered something that looked suspiciously like a toaster. I cleared my throat and he looked up, eyes widening in recognition. "Well, if it is Moran, haven't seen you around these parts in ages. What brings you slumming in my neck of the woods?" "Let's just say I had a run-in with something unusual," I replied, producing a data chip containing the scans of the sphere. "I found this on Helios. I need to know what it is and why a bunch of shiny aliens want it." Ash took the chip with a curious glint in his eye, slotting it into a reader. His expression shifted through surprise, intrigue, and finally, a frown of concern. "Moran, this is interesting. The energy signature is unlike anything I've seen, and that's saying something." "What is it?" I prompted, leaning in closer. "Best guess, some kind of quantum resonance engine, but it's not meant for propulsion. This is more communicative. It's like a beacon or maybe a lock." That wasn't quite what I'd expected, though it made sense in a twisted, cosmic kind of way. "A lock to what?" Ash shrugged, spreading his hands in a gesture of helplessness. "That's the billion-credit question. It's transmitting, but the signal, if you can call it T, is encoded in a way that defies translation." I thanked Ash and left the bazaar, my thoughts a tumultuous storm. If the sphere was a lock, then what was the key and what lay behind the metaphorical door? More importantly, why had it chosen me to be its unwitting herald? As I pondered this, a familiar voice cut through my reverie. "Moran, you might want to see this," Reeve said through the comm, his tone unusually grave. "What's up?" "There's a broadcast on all channels. I'm patching it through now." The station's screens flickered, displaying the image of a stern, regal figure, an alien that matched the species I'd encountered on Helios. Its eyes, luminous with purpose, stared directly at the camera. "To the one who carries the echo," the figure intoned, its voice a harmonious blend of notes, "we seek you not as foes but as guardians. The echo is a lifeline, a connection to what was lost. Return to us and help us unlock its secrets." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving a disquieting silence in its wake. A chill ran down my spine, the weight of responsibility pressing heavily on my shoulders. As I absorbed the implications, a decision formed in the back of my mind. I had a choice: to run and hide or to confront this mystery head-on, to understand the echo and its significance. The latter, I realized, was the only path forward, the only way to find the truth. With resolve hardening within me, I turned and made my way back to the solstice. This journey had only just begun, and wherever it led, I would follow. The past, it seemed, held more than just echoes. It was alive, waiting to be discovered, and I intended to unravel its secrets, one alien whisper at a time. Part 3: The Crucible of Memories. Back aboard the Solstice, the hum of the engines filled the silence like a familiar lullaby. I leaned back in the pilot's chair, staring at the controls as if they might reveal the path ahead. The weight of the alien broadcast still clung to me, and I couldn't shake the sense that I was standing on the precipice of something vast and unknowable. Reeves' voice broke through my thoughts. "We've got options, Moran. We can lie low, head for the fringe worlds, or—" he hesitated, knowing full well what I was likely to choose. "Or we return the echo to its makers." I let out a slow breath. "Yeah, I think we both know there's only one real choice. We need answers, and running isn't going to give them to us." Reeve chuckled, a dry sound tinged with resignation. "I figured you'd say that. Where do we start?" "The broadcast came from a nearby system," I said, bringing up the star map. "Seraphiz has some old records of its jump routes. Maybe we can trace the signal back to its source." With Reeve monitoring communications, I delved into the station's archives, a labyrinth of data that seemed determined to keep its secrets. Hours passed in a blur of scrolling text and flickering schematics, but finally I found something: a nav beacon hidden in the records, inactive for decades. It corresponded with the signal's origin. The destination was a system called Halcyon, shrouded in myth and legend. As we prepared for departure, a familiar unease settled over me. This wasn't just a journey into the unknown, it was a confrontation with the past, with something ancient and powerful. The sphere aboard Helios had been a key, and Halcyon might just be the door. The jump to Halcyon was turbulent, the solstice shuddering as if protesting this intrusion into a forgotten realm. Space around us seemed denser, the stars dimmer, as if cloaked by a veil. When we emerged, the sight took my breath away. Halcyon was dominated by a colossal ring, a megastructure encircling the system's star. It gleamed with an inner light, a mosaic of shifting colors that hinted at technology beyond our understanding. It was both beautiful and daunting, a sentinel standing guard over the mysteries within. "Holy hell," Reeve muttered, his voice carrying a mix of awe and trepidation. "What are we looking at?" "A Dyson ring," I replied, the words feeling inadequate for such grandeur. "I've heard stories, but to see it, it's something else." Ships moved along the ring's surface, sleek constructs that mirrored the design of the alien craft from Helios. They moved with purpose, a testament to the civilization that inhabited this place, a civilization that had summoned me here. With cautious hope, I set course for the largest of these vessels, broadcasting our intentions. The response was swift, a series of coordinates directing us to a docking bay within the ring itself. The solstice slid into place with a whisper, enveloped by the structure like a pearl in an oyster. As I disembarked, a delegation awaited, figures tall and graceful, their metallic skin shimmering in the ambient light. Their leader stepped forward, eyes glowing with that same inner luminescence. "Traveler," the leader intoned, their voice resonating with layers of meaning. "You honor us with your presence. I am Kithara, keeper of the Echo's legacy." There was a profound nobility to these beings, a sense of purpose that transcended mere survival. "Why did you call us?" I asked, the question burdened with everything I needed to understand. Kithara gestured to the vastness around us. "The Echo is a conduit to our past, a fragment of who we once were. It is part of a network that spans the stars, each piece a memory of our ancestors. You have awakened one such piece, and with it, the possibility of reuniting our lost heritage." The revelation hit me like a tidal wave. The sphere was more than just a relic, it was a bridge across time, a link to something both magnificent and tragic. But there was more. There had to be. "What does that mean for me?" I pressed, needing to grasp the personal implication of it all. Kithara's gaze was steady, almost compassionate. "The Echo chose you as its guardian, connecting you to our legacy. But there is a danger, a fracture in the network that threatens us all. We need your help to mend it." A fracture? The words resonated with a chilling clarity. The Echo was not just a key, it was part of a larger tapestry, and that tapestry was unraveling. "All right," I said, feeling the weight of destiny settle upon me. "Where do we start?" Kithara led me through the station's gleaming corridors, explaining how the echoes were linked, each a node in a vast, cosmic web. We reached a chamber, walls lined with crystalline displays that pulsed with data. It was a command center, a nerve hub for the entire network. Reeve joined us, his expression a mix of curiosity and determination. Together, we examined the displays, tracing the frac. Ture's path, it led to a distant point in the network, an anomaly surrounded by caution and whispers. "It's a crucible," Kithara explained, "a place where the echoes converge. It has become unstable, threatening to cascade across the entire network." The task was daunting, but the stakes were clear. If the network fell, so too would the history and knowledge it contained. I looked to Reeve, seeing my own resolve mirrored in his eyes. "We're in," I said, the words filled with a determination I hadn't felt in years. "Tell us what needs to be done." As Kithara detailed the plan, a daring recalibration of the crucible, I couldn't help but feel the pull of destiny, the sense that this journey was meant to be. The path ahead was fraught with danger, a test of endurance and will. But it was also a chance to uncover a legacy that had been hidden for too long. As preparations began in earnest, I took a moment to stand at the chamber's edge, gazing out at the stars. They had watched over us since the birth of civilization, their light a constant reminder of the vastness of existence. Now they would bear witness to a new chapter, one that I was determined to see through to the end. With a final, deep breath, I turned back to the task at hand. The echo had called, and I would answer, with fire and purpose, and a promise to restore what had been lost. The universe, it seemed, was ready to reveal its secrets, and I was ready to unearth them, one revelation at a time. Part 4. The Nexus of Stars. The preparations for the journey to the Crucible were laden with a sense of urgency. The solstice hummed with a renewed vigor, her systems calibrated to handle the delicate yet treacherous task ahead. Reeve and I worked in concert with Kithara's team, learning as much as we could about the network's fragility. The gravity of our mission loomed large, a shadow cast by the star-spanning legacy entrusted to us. Halcyon's Dyson ring was a marvel, but as we departed its safety, the full scope of our undertaking settled over me like a shroud. The destination was a sector marked by anomalies, a place where the fabric of reality seemed to ripple and bend. The crucible lay at its heart, a maelstrom of energy that pulsed with the memory of countless generations. As we transitioned into the uncharted space beyond the ring, the solstice thrummed with life. The stars outside shimmered like a sea caught in a storm, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were navigating through the very veins of the universe. The map displayed before us was both ancient and living, a testament to the civilization that had crafted it long ago. Reeves' voice broke through my reverie, a welcome anchor in the swirling chaos. We're approaching the crucible's perimeter. Sensors are picking up gravitic fluctuations, nothing the solstice can't handle but will need to be sharp. I nodded, a thrill of adrenaline coursing through me. Let's keep our eyes peeled. This place is a tinderbox and we're here to light or snuff out the match. The deeper we traveled, the more unstable the region became. Space itself seemed to warp and twist, fractals of light forming ephemeral patterns that vanished as quickly as they appeared. The closer we got, the more I understood why the network had fractured here. The crucible was a paradox of creation and destruction, a forge where echoes of the past reverberated with an intensity that was both beautiful and terrifying. Our instruments guided us towards the heart of the anomaly where the crucible awaited. As we drew near, a strange sensation enveloped the solstice, a resonance that thrummed through the hull, a symphony of worlds colliding. The ship's systems flickered in response, and I could almost hear the chorus of echoes, a melody sung by the stars themselves. As if sensing our presence, the crucible shifted, streams of energy converging into a dazzling vortex. It was a dance of light and shadow, an orchestra conducted by the cosmos. But beneath its beauty lay a precarious balance, one that threatened to unravel at any moment. Reeve tapped into the main console, lines of data streaming across his screen. "This is it, Moran. We'll need to calibrate the crucible's resonance fields, stabilize its core. It's like threading a needle while riding a comet." "Piece of cake," I said with a wry grin. "All we need is precision and a little luck." Kithara's voice came through the calm and reassuring. "The network's conduits are ready for recalibration. Proceed when ready, traveler." I took a deep breath, focusing on the task at hand. The solstice responded to my touch, aligning with the crucible's energetic flow. Reeve began inputting the recalibration sequence, each command a delicate step in the dance of restoration. As the sequence progressed, the crucible's light intensified, its colors shifting through a spectrum that defied description. The echoes resonated with increasing clarity, each note a fragment of the history we sought to preserve. But just as we neared completion, the unexpected happened. A surge of energy erupted from the crucible, a tidal wave of raw power that rippled through the network. The solstice bucked violently, alarms blaring as systems struggled to cope with the onslaught. "Reeve, what's happening?" I shouted, gripping the controls as the ship shuddered around us. "Feedback loop," Reeve yelled back, his fingers flying over the console. "The crucible's output is destabilizing. We need to contain it, or it'll tear the network apart." Panic lurked at the edges of my mind, but I forced it down, focusing on the urgency of the moment. The network was more than just data. It was a living history, a legacy that we couldn't afford to lose. With a grim determination, I engaged the ship's stabilizers, channeling energy into a containment field. The solstice groaned in protest but held steady, the feedback loop slowly subsiding under our combined efforts. Finally, the crucible's energy abated, settling into a gentle hum that resonated with newfound harmony. The echoes quieted, their melody a soft whisper that spoke of unity and hope. Kithara's voice returned, a blend of relief and gratitude. "You have done it, traveler. The crucible is stable once more and the network is whole. A weight lifted from my shoulders, replaced by an exhaustion that ran deep. But there was also a profound sense of accomplishment, a knowledge that we had made a difference. As we set a course back to Halcyon, I reflected on the journey that had brought us here. The Echo had chosen me, not as a guardian of its secrets, but as a bridge to its rebirth. And in doing so, it had reawakened a part of me that I thought I'd lost, a sense of purpose that transcended the mundane. The stars outside shimmered with a new brilliance, their light a testament to the legacy we'd helped preserve. The universe was vast, its mysteries countless, but for the first time I felt truly connected to all that lay beyond. With a determined heart and an unyielding spirit, I knew this was only the beginning. The echoes still sang, their melody a call to adventure, and I would answer, ready to explore the tapestry of existence, one star at a time. Part 5. The Cartographer's Secret. As the solstice glided gracefully through the vastness of space, the echoes of our recent triumph still resonated within me. The crucible had been stabilized, the network preserved, and yet, as we journeyed back toward Halcyon, a nagging thought kept scratching away at the corners of my mind. The Echo had chosen me, but why? What lay beneath the surface of this cosmic game we played? Reeve, ever perceptive, noticed my pensiveness. "You've got that look again, Moran, the one that says there's another shoe waiting to drop. What's on your mind?" I shrugged, feigning nonchalance but knowing I couldn't hide from him. "It's just..." Every answer seems to spawn two more questions. The Echo, the crucible, this alien network. What's the endgame here? He nodded, his gaze fixed on the stars. "We're dealing with something bigger than we can imagine, but hey, at least it's never boring." A dry chuckle escaped me, a welcome reprieve from the relentless weight of uncertainty. "True, but I can't shake the feeling we're missing something, a piece of the puzzle that's right in front of us." Our conversation was interrupted by a notification from the ship's console, a message from Kithara, marked urgent. With a nod to Reeve, I accessed the message, Kithara's serene visage filling the screen. "Traveler, as you journey back, there is a matter of significance that requires your attention," Kithara began, her tone as composed as ever. "An anomaly has been detected near Halcyon, one that bears the signature of lost technology. We believe it may hold keys to further understanding the Echo and your connection to it." Lost technology. The words clung to me like an echo of their own, a beacon calling for exploration. "We're on it. Send us the coordinates and any data you have." With a shared glance of resolve, Reeve and I adjusted course, the solstice arching gracefully toward the new coordinates. The journey was swift, anticipation building as we neared our destination. The anomaly appeared as a faint shimmer against the void, a ghost of machinery partially embedded in an asteroid field. As we approached, its outline became clear, a massive construct, ancient and majestic, its surfaces etched with intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with an inner light. "Looks like we found ourselves an old friend," Reeve quipped, a note of reverence in his voice. "What kind of tech is this? It's beautiful." I nodded, awestruck by the sight. "A cartographer's dream, maybe. Let's find out what secrets it hides." Docking with the structure was a delicate dance, the solstice nestling against its ancient hull with a soft reverberation. As we disembarked, the air within was charged with an energy that tingled along my skin, a reminder of the vast knowledge this place might hold. The interior was a labyrinth of corridors, their walls lined with enigmatic symbols that beckoned us deeper. It was like walking through a gallery of forgotten history, each step imbued with the weight of millennia. We moved cautiously, alert for any signs of danger or discovery. It wasn't long before we found a central chamber, dominated by a colossal interface that shimmered with potential. Its surface was a mosaic of controls, the design both alien and oddly familiar. Reeve approached, his fingers hovering over the panel with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "You think it's safe?" "Only one way to find out," I replied, curiosity outweighing caution. Together, we initiated the interface, its response a cascade of light and sound that filled the chamber with a celestial symphony. The structure awakened, projections of star maps and data swirling around us in a dazzling array. It was as if the universe itself had come alive, revealing its hidden pathways and forgotten stories. Among them, a particular set of coordinates stood out, highlighted with an urgency that demanded attention. "These coordinates," Reeve said, his voice hushed with wonder. "They're connected to the Echoes network, but look, there's more." The map zoomed in, revealing a system marked with the symbol of the cartographers, a legendary group of explorers said to have charted the unknown reaches of the galaxy. A realization struck me, the pieces falling into place with astonishing clarity. "This isn't just a map," I breathed. "It's a guide to the heart of the Echo, to where it all began." The enormity of the discovery was staggering. We held a key that could unlock the Echo's deepest mysteries, perhaps even the very source of its power. Yet, with such revelation came the inevitable question of consequence. "We need to decide," I said, meeting Reeve's gaze. "Do we follow this path knowing it could change everything?" Reeve's response was immediate, his confidence unwavering. "We've come this far, Moran, we can't turn back now." With shared resolve, we committed to the journey ahead, the path illuminated by the cartographer's legacy. As we prepared to depart, I took one last look at the holographic tapestry around us, the beauty of its complexity a testament to the wonders of exploration. Returning to the solstice, the ship felt different, as if it too carried the weight of new knowledge. The coordinates were a beacon, a promise of discovery that lay amidst the stars. As we set out toward the unknown, the universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting for us to take that next fateful step. In the vast expanse of possibility, I felt a new sense of purpose, a drive to uncover the secrets of the Echo and to fulfill the promise whispered by the stars themselves. The journey continued, and with it, the hope of revelation and the thrill of what awaited just beyond the horizon. Part 6: The Starborn Nexus. As the solstice soared toward the cartographer's coordinates, the stars stretched into ribbons of luminescence, a cosmic highway guiding us deeper into the unknown. The ship's interior hummed with anticipation, resonating with the promise of revelations that lay just beyond our grasp. Reeve sat beside me, his fingers tapping a rhythmic beat on the console, a telltale sign of his own eagerness mixed with tension. "You think this is it, Moran, the heart of the Echo?" I nodded, the weight of our discovery still settling. If the cartographers flagged it, it's got to be significant. Whatever's there, it's tied to the Echo's origins and maybe even its destiny. Our journey took us to a region where the familiar patterns of space dissolved into a mesmerizing kaleidoscope. The coordinates led us to a nebula, its swirling colors an intricate dance of energy and matter. As we approached, the solstice shivered, instruments going haywire with readings that defied standard classification. "This nebula isn't just space gas," Reeve noted, eyes scanning the data. "It's infused with something, alive almost." The realization struck us simultaneously. We were entering a nexus, a convergence of energies where the boundaries between reality and the ephemeral blurred. It was a place of creation, of transformation, a fitting heart for the Echo's legacy. Navigating through the nebula took all our skill, the ship weaving through its turbulent beauty with precision and grace. Each tendril of light seemed to reach out, brushing against the hull like a phantom caress. And then, at its heart, we found what we'd come for. Suspended within the nebula was a structure of breathtaking elegance, its design echoing the architecture of the aliens we'd encountered. It was an intricate lattice of crystalline spires and substructures, each one pulsating with a rhythm that mirrored the nebula's heartbeat. "Welcome to the Nexus," I murmured, awe threading through my voice. "This must be it, the cradle of the Echo." We guided the Solstice into a docking bay, the ship's systems harmonizing with the Nexus as if acknowledging a long-lost kin. As we disembarked, the air around us hummed with an energy that thrummed in time with my pulse. The chamber we entered was vast, its walls alive with patterns of light that shifted and flowed, a living tapestry of knowledge and memory. It felt like stepping into the mind of the universe, each pulse a thought, each shimmer a dream. Kithara's image flickered into view on our comms, projected from a far distance yet feeling close. "You stand at the center of the Echo where all paths converge. What you find there will shape the future of our connection." Her words carried a gravity that resonated within the chamber, aligning with the stars we could not see but felt in every fiber of our being. Guided by a shared instinct, Reeve and I moved deeper into the Nexus, drawn toward a central platform that seemed to beckon us. "Feels like we're walking into history itself," Reeve said, his tone a mix of reverence and excitement. The platform was adorned with glyphs, shimmering symbols that pulsed beneath our feet. It was a console unlike any other, a fusion of art and technology waiting to be awakened. I placed my hand upon its surface, feeling the echo of countless generations coursing through me. The Nexus responded, its light intensifying until the chamber was bathed in a radiant glow. Holographic figures emerged, ethereal and indistinct, yet unmistakably real. They moved with a grace that transcended time, ancient cartographers, their spectral forms a testament to their legacy. One figure stepped forward, its voice a whisper of stardust. "To those who would follow our path, welcome. You are the inheritors of our journey. The Echo is both memory and guide, a beacon to those who seek truth." The words resonated, their meaning weaving into the fabric of my understanding. The Echo was more than a relic, it was a promise, a commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and unity across the stars. The cartographer continued, its gaze meeting mine with a profound intensity. "The Nexus holds the tales of countless worlds, their songs woven into the tapestry of existence. Only by embracing this legacy can you guide your path forward." The light around us shifted, revealing a network of pathways stretching out from the Nexus like the roots of a cosmic tree. Each root represented a story, a choice, a life, a testament to the interconnectedness of all things. "Choose your path," the spectral figure intoned. "The journey is yours to chart." The enormity of the decision loomed large, yet it felt right. With the Nexus as our guide, we could explore the mysteries of the Echo and beyond, weaving our own tale into the grand tapestry. As Reeve and I stood at the precipice of this new beginning, the chamber's light bathed us in its warmth. The future lay open before us, a landscape of stars and stories waiting to be discovered. The cartographers had entrusted us with their legacy, and with it, the duty to chart the stars anew. As we prepared to take that first step into the unknown, I felt the weight of history settle not as a burden but as a promise, to seek, to understand, and to honor the echoes of the past as we forge the path forward. And so, with a heart full of resolve and wonder, we stepped into the light, ready to embrace the possibilities of the universe, one star at a time. Part 7, Path of Constellations. Our journey from the Nexus began with a sense of rebirth, the weight of the cartographer's legacy both ethereal and grounding. The solstice felt different beneath my hands, as if charged with a new purpose. The coordinates the Nexus had unveiled led us into a region known as the Path of Constellations, a corridor of stars known for its beauty, enigma, and some whispered its dangers. Reeve and I shared a silent understanding as the stars slipped past, their light cascading into the cockpit like celestial whispers. The Nexus had opened a door, but what lay beyond was a mystery wrapped in the cosmos' embrace. "We're not in Kansas anymore," Reeve quipped, his eyes reflecting the starlit path ahead. "Or should I say, not the Helios we knew, new territory, new rules." I nodded, a smile tugging at my lips. Let's hope these paths weren't marked for nothing. I'd hate for our inheritance to just be a long string of star systems. Reeve feigned a gasp. "What? You mean we didn't come all this way for an interstellar treasure hunt?" Together we laughed, a sound that resonated warmly in the small confines of our ship, dispelling the tendrils of doubt and apprehension that had begun to creep into my thoughts. The path of constellations widened into a tapestry of celestial wonders, the stars forming intricate patterns that danced across the vastness. The ship's scanners hummed with activity, detecting faint energy signatures that piqued my interest. Among them, one stood out, a signal distinct and deliberate, echoing like the call of a distant lighthouse. "That signal," I said, adjusting our course. "It's got something to say." We followed its call, the solstice weaving its way through the stellar labyrinth. As we drew closer, the signal's origin came into view, a planet nestled within the embrace of a trinary star system, its atmosphere shimmering with the glow of 3 suns. As we descended through the planet's atmosphere, the landscape unfolded beneath us, a sprawling expanse of crystalline formations that glimmered like a field of diamonds. Amidst this dazzling array stood structures rising from the ground like the fingertips of giants, their surfaces inscribed with symbols reminiscent of those we'd seen at the Nexus. The signal led us to a central edifice, its entrance yawning open in welcome. As we stepped from the ship, the air hummed with an energy that resonated deep within my bones, an echo of the Nexus, yet different, as if it had matured in the light of the stars. We entered the structure, its corridors bathed in a soft luminescence that seemed to emanate from the very walls. The symbols here were familiar yet foreign, their patterns weaving a narrative that spoke of time's passage and the intertwining of destinies. Reeve ran his fingers over the inscriptions, his gaze thoughtful. "Feels like history's trying to have a conversation with us. You think these places were meant to be found together?" "Like different chapters of the same book," I agreed, the thought settling with a comforting inevitability. The corridor opened into a grand chamber, its walls lined with crystalline arrays that pulsed with a rhythmic, harmonious glow. At the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested a sphere, a twin to the one we'd found on Helios. Approaching the sphere, I sensed it was alive, a consciousness locked in its crystalline embrace. Its surface shimmered in response to my touch, images blooming like flowers in the mind's eye, worlds being born, stars colliding in cosmic dances, and the ever-flowing river of time weaving through it all. In that moment the pieces aligned, a revelation so profound it left me breathless. The echo wasn't just memory, it was the universe's own heartbeat, a connection between the past, present, and future. The cartographers had preserved not just history, but the essence of creation itself. As I withdrew my hand, the images faded, leaving behind a certainty as solid as the ground beneath my feet. The path of the echo was a guiding star for all who sought understanding, a light that could illuminate the darkest reaches of the cosmos. Reeves' eyes met mine, reflecting the awe and determination that flowed through me. "Looks like we're not just keeping history alive, Moran, we're part of it now." A smile broke through, unbidden and genuine. "Then let's make sure it's a story worth telling." With renewed purpose, we returned to the solstice, the weight of our choices balanced by the promise of discovery. The path of constellations stretched out before us, a canvas of possibilities waiting to be painted by our journey. As we took flight once more, the stars seemed to wink in silent agreement, their light a testament to the unity of all things. The echo of the cartographer's legacy resonated within me, a call to explore, to learn, and to carry their torch across the endless sea of stars. And so we traveled onward, the universe our companion, the journey. I our guide, each constellation a waypoint, each discovery a step closer to understanding the magnificent tapestry of existence. The future lay open before us, a promise of endless horizons and infinite stories, waiting to unfold with every breath of the cosmos. Part 8: The Harmonic Paradox. As the solstice continued its voyage along the path of constellations, the familiar hum of the engines became a constant companion, a rhythm that matched the beating of my heart. The journey felt more significant with each passing day, a journey fueled by the echoes of history and the persistence of stars. The discoveries we had made were profound, yet they seemed to be but pieces of a greater puzzle. The cartographer's legacy, the nexus, the crystalline spheres, they were all strands of a web that spanned the cosmos, a web whose center still eluded us. Reeve marveled at the data streaming across the console, his curiosity ever insatiable. "These readings, it's like the universe is singing to us, a cosmic symphony just waiting to be heard." His words sparked a memory, the whisper of an idea just beyond reach. As if sensing my thoughts, the ship's sensors pinged with a new alert, a harmonic resonance echoing through the void, subtly different from anything we'd encountered before. "Looks like we have a new lead," I said, adjusting our course to follow the signal. "Let's see where this melody takes us." The resonance led us to a sector shrouded in mystery, a place where the very fabric of space seemed to ripple with unseen forces. It was a region untouched by the hands of time, its stars forming a swirling pattern that pulsed with an otherworldly glow. Within this cosmic maelstrom lay a structure unlike any we had seen, a vast, crystalline dome floating serenely amidst the chaos. Its surface shimmered with concentric patterns, each one resonating with a frequency that tugged at something deep within. As we approached, the dome's surface rippled, opening to reveal an entrance bathed in a gentle luminescence. The invitation was clear, and we accepted, guiding the solstice into the heart of the structure. Inside, we found ourselves in a space unlike any other, a vast chamber filled with crystalline formations that sang with energy. The air was alive with sound, a symphony of resonance that echoed through the very bones of the ship. At the center of the chamber stood a massive obelisk, its surface inscribed with intricate glyphs. It pulsed with a deep, resonant hum, each vibration a call to the soul. Reeve and I stepped forward, drawn to the obelisk by a force that transcended understanding. As we reached out, the chamber's symphony intensified, the harmonics aligning in a crescendo of light and sound. The obelisk responded to our touch, its surface projecting a tapestry of light that filled the chamber with a myriad of colors. Images danced within the light, a galaxy in formation, worlds being born, and the web of connections that bound everything together. In that moment I understood. The obelisk was a conduit, a harmonic node in the network of the echo. It was a place where the universe's resonance converged, a focal point for the energies that flowed through all things. The realization was both awe-inspiring and humbling. The Echo's song was a reminder of the interconnectedness of existence, a symphony that transcended the boundaries of time and space. It was a call to harmony, a promise of unity amidst the chaos of creation. As the images faded, the obelisk's harmonics shifted, a new pattern emerging that carried with it a message, a call to action. The network had detected a disruption, a dissonance within the symphony that threatened to unravel the harmony we had worked so hard to preserve. Reeves' expression mirrored my own determination. "We've come this far, Moran, we can't let it fall apart now." I nodded, my resolve firm. "Then let's find the source of this dissonance and set it right." The obelisk provided the coordinates, a path through the swirling chaos to a place where the echoes had gone astray. It was a journey into the heart of the storm, a confrontation with the forces that threatened the balance we sought to maintain. We returned to the solstice, the ship's systems humming with anticipation as we prepared for the task ahead. The path was fraught with uncertainty, the stakes higher than ever before, but the promise of restoration called to us like a beacon. As we set a course for the coordinates, the stars outside shimmered with an urgency that matched our own. The journey was far from over, and the challenges ahead would test our limits, but the Echo's song guided us, its melody a reminder of the connection we shared with all things. With a heart full of resolve and a spirit unyielding, we plunged into the fray, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The universe sang its symphony, and we were determined to preserve its harmony, one note, one star, and one story at a time. Part 9. The Celestial Rift. The solstice hurtled through the cosmos, the engines a steady thrum that pulsed in harmony with the ship's heartbeat. Reeve and I sat in the cockpit, the stars beyond a shifting tapestry of light and shadow. Ahead lay the coordinates where the dissonance beckoned, a place the network had marked with a solemn urgency. As we approached, the sensation of being drawn toward something enormous, something ancient, grew palpable. The space around us seemed to tremble with a restless energy, each vibration a whisper of unseen forces at play. The path led us into the Celestial Rift, a region rumored to be a crucible of cosmic anomalies. "Not exactly a vacation spot," Reeve noted, his gaze fixed on the swirling mass of stellar phenomena beyond. "But it's kind of beautiful in its own way." "Yeah," I replied, studying the chaotic dance of light. "Like the universe decided to throw a party and forgot to clean up." The rift was a kaleidoscope of swirling gas clouds and erratic gravitational waves, a storm of creation and destruction. The ship's sensors lit up with warnings, but the resonance of the echo was clear. This was where we needed to be. Guiding the solstice through the turbulent void demanded every ounce of skill and focus. The ship's hull groaned with the strain, the controls vibrating beneath my fingers as I navigated the shifting tides of energy. Within the heart of the rift lay a structure, an ancient citadel suspended amidst the chaos, its spires reaching out like skeletal fingers grasping for stability. It was a relic from a civilization long past, its surface etched with familiar glyphs that pulsed with a discordant rhythm. "Looks like we've found the source of the dissonance," I said, maneuvering toward the citadel's entrance. "Let's hope it's willing to talk." Reeve nodded, his expression set with determination. "Ready when you are." As we docked with the citadel, a sense of gravity settled over me, a quiet certainty that this was a turning point in our journey. The air inside was charged with a tension that resonated through the ancient walls. We made our way through the corridors, each step echoing with the weight of history. The structure felt alive, as if it had been waiting for us to arrive and untangle the knots of time. The chamber we entered was vast and circular, its ceiling a dome of shimmering light. In the center stood an array of crystalline conduits, their surfaces flickering with energy that twisted and coiled like serpents. As we approached, the conduits activated, projecting an image that filled the chamber with a ghostly glow. It was a map of the Echo's network, its paths converging upon a single point, a nexus where the energies of creation and dissonance collided. "This is the heart of the rift," Reeve observed, his voice hushed with awe, "the place where the harmony breaks." The image shifted, revealing a distortion in the network, a fracture that threatened to unravel the delicate balance we sought to preserve. It was a rift within the rift, a chasm where the echoes of the past clashed with the rhythm of the present. "We need to repair the connection," I said, my resolve firm. "Stabilize the fracture and bring the network back into harmony." Reeve nodded, his fingers dancing over the console as he initiated the recalibration sequence. The conduits pulsed in response, their energy weaving a tapestry of light and sound that filled the chamber with a symphony of possibility. The process was delicate, each adjustment a dance with the forces of creation. The resonance built to a crescendo, the chamber vibrating with the power of a universe in motion. And then the fracture began to heal, the dissonance fading as the network realigned. The light shifted, the conduits glowing with a renewed harmony that resonated through the citadel and beyond. As the energy settled, a new image bloomed before us, a vision of the network restored, its pathways glowing with a unified brilliance. The Echo's song was whole once more, a symphony of unity that echoed through the stars. Reeve exhaled, a smile breaking through the tension. "We did it, Moran, the network's stable." I nodded, relief and triumph mingling in the air. "It's a start, but there's more out there, more to learn and understand." As we made our way back to the solstice, the citadel seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, the weight of its history eased by our actions. The journey had tested us, challenged us, but it had also revealed the interconnectedness of all things, a cosmic dance woven through the fabric of existence. As the ship slipped free of the rift, the stars beyond shone with a new clarity, their light a testament to the unity we had restored. The Echo's song resonated through the cosmos, a melody of hope and discovery. With the path ahead illuminated by the promise of new horizons, we set course for the unknown, ready to explore the mysteries that awaited beyond the veil. The stars sang their eternal symphony, and we were part of the chorus, our journey unfolding one note, one star, one story at a time.